Never fear, the Z06 is here. Sure, it's a performance bargain, but it's also so much more. By now, you're probably tired of the Corvette-as-underdog story. For nearly 70 years, America's sports car traded on its value-affordable pricing that more often than not begat cheaply executed interiors and tacky design aimed at, let's face it, middle American old guys. It was a car designed in Michigan and built in Kentucky, and it looked the part. Never mind, it was capable of performance equal to or near some of the world's most pedigreed sports cars. Often head-scratching compromises didn't just the Pinto the Corvette like some act of God. Like a flood, or a tornado, or plague of locusts, they were intentional. General Motors wanted the car to be attainable and able to swallow golf clubs. In other words, here's your world-beating power and handling, hope you can stand floppy seats and funny glue smells, and the ass is huge because, you know, Fore. That paradigm took a hard left turn with the present C8-generation Corvette's arrival for 2020. The ultimate versions of the previous Corvette having reached the mountaintop of front-engine, rear-wheel drive performance. The time finally came to relocate the engine to a more exotic midship location. Chevrolet's engineers could finally unlock a new level of Vette capability. And they did. Even the base 455 HP C8 Corvette played ding-dong ditch on supercars' doorbells. It finally had a price-appropriate interior, a lowish bar for a car that starts at $60,000, but a huge step forward nonetheless. We promptly named it our 2020 Car of the Year, declaring, never before has so much four-wheeled exoticism been attainable for so little money. It still fit a set of golf clubs in the back, but for the Corvette, a page had begun to turn. With the new Corvette Z06 layering an additional 200 some HPH, extra aerodynamic work, and a racier focus onto the Stingray's winning formula, let's throw all that value talk out the window and try a thought exercise. Dissociate the Z06 from decades of Corvette baggage, good and bad, and ask yourself, can a 670 HP mid-engine supercar possibly be considered an underdog? Should it be? In a testing session shared with the nearly $500,000 McLaren 765 LT Spider, the Corvette Z06 set our all-time figure 8 lap record, scooting the 500 feet between two 200-foot skidpad circles quicker than any vehicle we've tested, only to see its fresh record broken by a fraction of a second by that same McLaren. At 2.8 seconds to 60 mph, the Corvette Z06 was quickest in this year's Pavoti field, while its 1.16-gram lateral grip and 95-foot stop from 60 miles per hour were second best. The Chevy is no underdog, it's in benchmark territory for ultimate production car performance. That is but one big reason is our 2023 Performance Vehicle of the Year. If you caught the second season of White Lotus, HBO's deliciously voyeuristic descent into deeply conflicted vacationers' tortured stays at a Sicilian luxury resort, you probably caught yourself cranking the volume a little louder during the opening credits. The title song is perfectly sequenced, with the cameras panning across scenes of a classical Renaissance-style fresco, the bouncy, operatic melody building in intensity before the bridge, when the viewer's gaze flits rapidly between suddenly disturbing and carnal details, and the soundtrack unravels into mania, the music expanding and adopting shrieking urgency. The credit sequence's sensory overload is the closest mainstream analog to how 2023 Chevrolet Corvette Z06's new 5.5-liter V8 engine introduces itself. Installed in what looks a lot like the regular Corvette, with some carbon fiber doodads stuck on here and there, it begins its surprise when you thumb the starter button. The engine wakes with an unsettlingly loud crack before falling into a tense hum. Blip the throttle, and the revs leap like the digital tachometer had a seizure. That was only a toe's worth of gas. What if you press the pedal all the way? Confusing thoughts and questions begin flashing in your mind quicker than you can reconcile. This is a Chevy, right? But it's belting out a Ferrari soundtrack, sending a tingle through the steering wheel and pedals as the revs climb, and just keep on climbing. Like the entirety of Italy's sports car heritage is free soloing. El Capitan. Your eyes dart around, looking for something grounding. Okay, there are heated and cooled seats, The OnStar emergency button sticks out like seeing one of those, "Help, I've fallen, and I can't get up," alarms for the elderly around a co-ed's neck at a midnight rave. But that sound, what is happening? Almost entirely on its own. The Z06's dual overhead cam 32-valve flat-plane crankshaft LT6V8 elevates the Corvette to parity with the supercars whose performance it has long come close to matching. Its noise is as exotic as its spec sheet, and it is the most powerful naturally aspirated production V8 ever. Not for the price. Not for an American car of all time. Developed alongside a competition version for Corvette Racing's Endurance Series contenders, and with nary a pushrod, the 5.5-liter V8 spins up 670 horsepower at 8,400 revolutions per minute and 460 lb-f at 6,300. Without the racing version's required restrictor plates, Z06 owners enjoy 150 horsepower more than Corvette Racing's pro drivers do. In a hint at the rest of the Z06's capabilities, 6 scavenging pumps for the dry-sump oiling system ensure even pickup and can handle 1.16 gram of uninterrupted lateral acceleration. Forged aluminum pistons weigh 8% less than those in the old Z06's LS7 V8, and the titanium connecting rods are 21% lighter, slashing rotating mass and helping the engine rev to its 8,600 RPM redline quicker than any other Corvette in history. Credit also goes to the flat plane crankshaft, which spaces the rods at 180 degrees instead of 90, as in a cross-plane design. You hear this change as much as you feel it. The new 1-4-3-8-7-6-5-2 firing order wailing through a new center exit exhaust that makes a shorter run to the Vette's tail. Besides 21% less back pressure than the old Z06, the exhaust's parabolic reflector tips directs some of the V8's noise back at the cabin. We could run the engineering excellence category for the entirety of this story, and not cover every last iota of the Z06's jaw-dropping tech advancements or even that engine, so we'll roll the rest into this one. The Corvette Z06 simply performs the way a mid-engine supercar should. Longtime Corvette strengths are retained and improved upon here. In its tour drive mode, the Z06's suspension is all-day comfortable. With the hatches battened down in track mode, it's stiffer, but won't shake the head covers off those golf clubs. Yet here is a car capable of stopping from 60 miles per hour in 99 feet and generating 1.1 gram on our skid pad on its weakest tires. Michelin Pilot Sport for seconds rubber. Upgrading to the Z07 performance package and the available carbon fiber wheels wrapped in Pilot Sport Cup 2RS shortens the stopping distance to 95 feet and ups the average skid pad grip to 1.16 gram. That the Z07-equipped Z06 ripped up our figure-8 course neck and neck with the McLaren 765 LT Spider shows its abilities need no qualification. New category. Having learned a thing or two after our inaugural Pavoti evaluations last year, we decided safety is a difficult-to-back-up metric for certain sports cars and supercars that make up a good chunk of the Pavoti field. Safety organizations like NHTSA and IIHS seldom test all the vehicles we invite, so lacking crash data, evaluating safety regresses to a performative comparison of available features such as automated emergency braking, monitoring tech, and other safety aids. So for Pavoti, we've swapped our usual safety criterion for driver confidence and engagement. This can encompass passive safety, as a car you feel comfortable with at or near the limit will be a friendlier partner during an emergency maneuver. But mostly, this category delivers a complementary dimension on performance of intended function. These are all sporty, performance-focused vehicles. How much so determines the outcome of that original category. How the driver perceives the functionality and can exploit it. This is our new driver confidence and engagement criterion. Most of the Z06's superficial design advancement is owed, really, to the 2020 Corvette Stingray and its switch to a mid-engine layout. The Z06 doesn't build much on the C8's visuals, though the $8,995 Z07 packages carbon fiber aerodynamic add-ons, and the $9,995 carbon fiber wheels subtly amp up its curbside presence. Instead, the Z06 upgrades open up and take advantage of more of the new mid-engine format's promise. The weight balance swings to 40% front, 60% rear, from the old Z06's 50/50ths. This has less of an effect on the Z06's total objective performance figures, which are only a hair or two better than the C7's, and more on their repeatability, where before the old Z06 relied heavily on, and eventually ran out of tire, the C8 beats less on its Michelins. You can lap this car over and over and see little performance drop-off, much as you can in Porsche's track specials. And remember that record-setting figure 8 lap time? Does all of this unqualified praise have you feeling unglued like a delaminated sliver of Chevy's finest fiberglass? Need, buts, or it's good for the price, to feel like the natural order of things remains intact? We have none to offer. The Z06 tosses aside the value crutch leaned on by its predecessors. Sure, it is objectively less expensive than, say, a space shuttle or the McLaren 765 LT or Lamborghini Huracan, blue chip, 600 hp plus mid-engine supercars that also competed for this same performance vehicle of the year. That isn't why it won. Chevy could charge more. For the first time ever, a Corvette teams with the kind of special sauce that makes the car seem worth it regardless of price, a sense of total desirability, the feeling nothing was left on the table. Last year, the Porsche 911 GT3 took home our Performance Vehicle of the Year award after putting on a masterclass in that sort of gotta-have-it magic. How fitting that the Corvette, the 911's longtime nemesis, should break through and take over the award by leveraging the same strength.